Good morning, I'm Larry Kamer, and this is my channel, The Fly Tying Philosopher, where I like to discuss ideas while I'm tying flies. So today, I plan to spend the entire video tying 3 flies and talking just about technique rather than ideas as they come to mind, because I've discovered something about the Tenkara flies that I've proposed to do in a project that I have outlined in earlier videos. Essentially, that is, I want to tie 9 flies in an attempt to minimize and simplify my Tenkara fly collection and use. And I was going to do a Futsu, a Sakasa, and a Hanryu in 3 different colors. One of the things that I discovered was that I can tie each of these 3 flies in one pass from head to tail, and not have to backtrack or start at the tail of a fly and move toward the head, or to go through hackles and other tying techniques. So it should be pretty straightforward. Really the only thing that changes for each fly is the way the hackle is applied. In the Hanryu, I just use a hurl, which is wrapped behind the bead head. In the Futsu, I use a hackle that's would be used for a dry fly. This is applied in a sequence of the head, then the hackle with the stem toward the fly, and then the body afterwards. And the Sakasa, I use a hen pheasant feather. I tie that in tip first after making the head, and then go on to do the body. So at this point, I'm going to change the lens on the camera to get a macro view of the tying. Then I'm going to try to go rapidly through 3 flies to emphasize this technique. So I'll be right back. This is a Hanryu fly. Put the bead on a number 12 barbless hook, and then tie in thread. Build this up a little bit to hold the bead in place. Next is peacock hurl. A few strands, kind of insert them in this larger hole on the bead. And just wrap those. Build up a nice collar of hurl. And clip that off. Next is thread. This is paprika wool yarn from flytyingyarn.com. take the red thread back to the curve of the hook, and that can act then also as a hot spot back there. And wrap the thread, yarn, and we'll tie that off. And whip finish to end. And tighten that up. You can use head cement if you like, anywhere along the line. And that's it. Next, I'm going to do a futsu in green. So apply the thread. And you'll notice that the fly proceeds from the eye toward the curve. I like to build up a little head. You can use some UV cement here, make this shiny if you like. The hackle feather is placed stem first in this case, and I learned a technique from Kirsten Neben. Has only a few fly tying videos, but he's an excellent instructor, and he uses this technique for hackle feathers of this nature. And then I want to get the thread further down the line, and then put the hackle on, twist it on, and I try to get the fibers so that they stand up nicely like this. And you can make this bushy if you like, or very sparse. The other type of fly is a June, which is more of a dry fly and that uses a hackle of similar nature. But the placement is about the same. Then at this point, I apply the yarn right up against the back of the hackle. And trim off a little excess. This tag. Easier said than done. And wrap. And I take the yarn back down to the end, as before. Approximately 3 minutes per fly. And the little bright green thread down at this end can also act as a hot spot. So all of these are front to back, head to toe, um, and one time through. And there you have it. And then finally, a Sakasa. Changing colors again. Now in the Sakasa, I like to really build up the head and make it globular. Because the hackle is facing forward, and this kind of like props it up. In this case, the feather is tied in by the tip first with the curve of the feather down. And then you brush the fibers forward and twist them on. This sometimes is the hardest type of hackle to apply. Brush all those forward and tie the stem on. And fan those out. And in this case, you can put a hurl little collar there, or just the yarn like I'm going to do today. And take that little tag out of there. And then wrap. Get some of those stray barbules off. not to cut my thread, which I do periodically. And tie that on. And whip finish. And sometimes you can use the end of your bobbin, or not bobbin, but little thing to splay those out. And there you have it. That's the casa. So I think this is a nice technique. It's very efficient, as you can see. The flies come out nicely. They're quite colorful, and it's an efficient way to proceed through tying these flies. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you the next time.